Before we proceed, let us have a quick summary of the phases of the gait cycle. We can broadly classify gait cycle into two phases, stance phase and swing phase. The component of stance phase are heel strike, foot flat, mid stance, heel off, toe off. The component of swing phase are acceleration, mid swing, deceleration. So this was the summary. Let us start anatomy of gait cycle. Heel strike. This is the first component of stance phase when heel strikes the ground. During heel strike, there are two possibilities. One, due to the motion, there can be knee bending. And another possibility is slapping of the foot. So, to maintain the amount of knee flexion, quadriceps muscles comes into action and contracts eccentrically. To prevent slapping of the foot, tibialis anterior muscles contract eccentrically. After heel strike, next component is flat foot. In this phase, for the first time, foot directly comes in contact with the floor and remains flat. The anterior tibialis continues to act eccentrically. The quadriceps and gluteus muscles also act eccentrically. Next comes the mid-stance phase. It is the midway of the whole stance phase. Due to the activity in the intrinsic foot muscles, foot converts into a rigid structure over which leg moves. But in order to control the rate at which leg moves over the ankle, plantar flexors contract eccentrically. The quadriceps act concentrically to initiate knee extension. Next is heel off. As the name suggests, in this phase, the heel leaves the ground. Leaving the ground requires great deal of force. This force is brought about by plantar flexors. Foot still acts like a rigid base upon which the plantar flexors acts concentrically to produce a propulsive push-off. Toe off. Now it's the turn of toe to leave the ground. Plantar flexors continue to act concentrically. The iliopsoas muscles, which are hip flexors, shifts from eccentric to concentric activity, which will advance the extremity into swing phase. So here we complete the stance phase. Next is swing phase. During this phase, the leg swings in the air away from the floor, acceleration, mid swing and deceleration. Acceleration. This phase is an continuation of toe off when leg just leaves the ground. After leaving the ground, the muscle acts to gather the momentum to propel the leg forward. It is like iliopsoas acts concentrically to flex hip. Rectus femoris acts concentrically to extend the knee. Anterior tibialis acts concentrically to permit forefoot to clear the ground. Mid swing. It is the midway of the swing phase. Here, muscle activity virtually ceases except for the dorsiflexors. This is because of the leg inertia of motion which swings the leg forward. The final phase, deceleration. This is the final stage of gait cycle. Now, the swinging legs need to slow down and stop to prepare for next phase, that is heel strike. Here, hamstring acts eccentrically to decelerate the swinging leg. Tibialis anterior act concentrically to hold ankle in position for heel strike.